Assalamualaikum warahmatullah, guys. In our Islamic financial product and services series today, we will be looking at the Qard current and saving deposits. So this is a very important topic, even though it may sound quite general, because we are talking about current account and saving account. So what they can provide the customer with. So this is what we're going to look into now. As we know that the deposit fund is a very important component of banking, because banking is a leverage business. They leverage on deposit fund to make loan. Bank do not use the capital fund to make loan or to extend financing, but they will borrow from the depositors money so that this deposit fund can be used to make loan or to make murabaha. So we can see the framework over here, that the deposit fund, let's say 100 billion, will be mobilized from the issuances of the Casa deposit, the current account and saving account deposit. And also the bank will issue tawarruk FD deposit, or maybe to some extent NICD. And this deposit fund will be used to extend financing or to make loan in conventional banking. And for Islamic banking, we are looking at the financing of the purchases. It can be home financing, it can be vehicle financing, personal financing, business or corporate financing, trade finance, the purchase of securities. So these are all the assets generated from the use of deposit, among which supplied by the saving and current account, as well as the fixed deposit. So when we look at the balance sheet over here, we can easily see the distribution of this deposit fund into that of Casa and FD. So we assume that Casa deposit constitute about half of the total deposit of 100 billion, or so that 50 billion, and the bank will pay the Casa depositor 1% on average, and then fixed deposit 50 billion, and depositor will be paid 3% per annum. And this deposit of 100 billion will be used to generate revenues, most of which will be coming from murabaha or loans, 80 billion at 10%, and some of which will be used to purchase sukuk at 5%. This is 50 billion, and the rest will be held as cash for liquidity purposes, but cash does not provide any return. And we can see here, we can just compute the earning, how much earning that the bank can generate from the asset funded by Casa deposit as well as by FD or fixed deposit. So bank earning is equal to revenues minus deposit or cost of deposit. And we have calculated the revenues at 8.75 billion. And the cost of deposit or cost of Casa and cost of FD at 2 billion. So bank revenue is 6.75 billion, and we can break down the earning as the sum of the revenues, which is 5 billion times 0%, which is 0, and then 10% rate charge on the murabaha of 80 billion. So we got here over here 0.1 multiplied by 80, and then 5% multiplied by 15 billion of sukuk, and we get we add up 0 plus 8, 0 plus 0.75 minus cost of deposit, which is 0.5%, 50 billion, which is 50 billion multiplied by 1%, I presume. And sorry, it is 0.5 billion plus the 1.5 billion. That will be equivalent to 2 billion of cost of deposit. 0.5 is coming from Casa, and 1.5 is coming from FD. So we got the 2 billion worth of cost of deposit, and that will give us the total earning of 6.75. So this is how we will see how the deposit fund are playing their role in the generation of earning by the bank. So the deposit fund is used by the bank to make murabaha, to make sukuk that will yield some rate of return. So if you look at the contract of the Casa deposit, and this deposit are now based on the contract of Qard, right? So the Qard Islamic deposit do not pay interest, and for the Casa deposit, it pays hibah or gift, but this hibah is not announced upon the placement of the deposit. You know, like the FD, when we make FD placement in the conventional bank, then upon placement you will be notified how much rate that you will be awarded, 3%, 2%, but not for the Qard deposit, where it is prohibited to announce any rate upon placement, because that would implicate riba, because riba is any benefit arising from a loan, right? So whenever a loan is given to a person, then the borrowing party must not give any benefit to the lending party, whether the benefit is in the form of money or it is in kind. So we have to be careful in that definition. So we have Qard current account and Qard saving account, and we can see that in the Banegara guideline on Qard deposit, then the granting of hibah on Qard, the central bank has specified in the Sharia parameter how the hibah should be treated. The borrower under the Qard contract, which is the bank, must not grant hibah to the lender, which is the depositor. That is conditional on the Qard contract in the form of cash or in kind of benefit. So there shouldn't be any kind of contracted award or reward given to the borrower, either in the form of cash or in kind or benefit. If that happens, then this Qard will turn into a riba, a Qard with riba, which is prohibited. The granting of hibah to the lender that is solely based on borrower's discretion is allowed. So the lending party or the borrowing party, the bank can give hibah, but that is voluntary, but that is based on the sole decision of the bank or the borrower, and there shouldn't be any kind of contractual condition accorded to the contract to require the borrower to pay a certain amount. So it is up to the borrower, which is the bank, to set what rate they want to award this hibah, this Qard upon maturity, right? Then the borrower must not disclose or promote or market the indicative rate or prospective granting a hibah. So there shouldn't be any kind of announcement or any kind of sign where the borrower, or the bank is giving some kind of benefit to the lending party, that is the depositor, for making the placement. So this thing has been mentioned very clearly in this Banegara hibah guideline. The borrower shall have the discretion to disclose historical information on the hibah granted, provided that such information shall not be construed as an indicative hibah or give rise to any kind of obligation on part of the borrower to provide such hibah to the lending party. So if the lending party, the depositor, would like to know, what was the hibah given in the past, and of course that will be public information, and that will somehow help the depositor or the lender to decide to make placement with the bank or not. Again, the hibah should not be construed as an indicative rate. and any past data on the hibah would be an information that the lending party or the depositor would be using to make decision whether or not to put deposit in that particular bank. And the borrower shall be entitled to any benefit or revenue gained from the money borrowed. So in the sense that when the bank borrow from the depositor based on the Qard contract, then the borrowing party with the bank have the right to use this fund to run their business operation. So when the bank uses the deposit fund to make murabaha or to make itab or to make tawarruk, then where the bank will generate earning, so those earning will belong to the bank. There shouldn't be any kind of profit sharing between the bank and the depositor. The bank would be responsible as a borrower to return the deposit amount to the borrowing party, to the lending party, that is the depositor at maturity. So that is a very important condition, that all debt must be paid, that the debt that the bank obtained from the depositor must be paid in full at maturity. But the hibah is not contracted, but the hibah can be announced at the end of the tenure, and that announcement will be the rate of hibah for that particular maturity, whether it is 3 months or 6 months, 9 months, or for 1 year placement, that this hibah will be announced at maturity, but they are not announced in the entrance of the contract of Casa, because as we see, no announcement or no indicative rate will be announced, and therefore the Qard deposit under the Casa product is without riba, because no rate is set upon the agreement of the placement, and the hibah is only announced when the placement has matured, and therefore this Qard is not riba. It is essentially a Sharia compliant product that the bank have offered to the depositor. But we can see here that there shouldn't be any form of benefit that the bank provide to the depositor. So, but for example, we can see here that let me just take a look at one of the slides here. We can see here that the benefit that the depositor would derive from the placement are like bank card, the facility, private salary crediting, and sweeping of facilities, standing instruction facility for payment of bills and others. These are the benefit that the bank offer to the depositor for opening the Casa. But this is quite quite controversial, in the sense that these benefits are in kind, and these benefits are given from a Qardu. So this needs to be further deliberated, and to see that this kind of benefits must not be related to benefit arising from the Qardu, but benefit that the bank is providing based on their own, their own interpretation or the interpretation of the Sharia committee. What is this benefit? What this benefit has to do with Qardu? Is it separate from the Qardu, or is it related to the Qardu? If it is related to the Qardu, then this is not permissible. If it is separated from the Qardu, some kind of justification need to be given, so that we can understand that this benefit are not related to the Qardu, or that is the contract used in the saving and current account. Okay guys, thank you very much for your time. I'll see you again in the next session. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.